Welcome everyone to our episode 30 of our section Drops of Wisdom. In today's section, we are going to discuss the book Relentless Solution Focus by Jason Selk. And we are going to touch on the topics of focus, enhancing your skills, and understanding that our brain is working much better by single task, and also developing a mindset that is focusing on the solutions and not on the problems. Trying to accomplish more by multitasking or being busy is your worst asset in terms of distracting your mind, draining your executive memory, which on on Friday's episode, you are going to understand what is this executive memory and how you drain energy from it, and then you end up distracting more and extending the time that you are working or being busy, overwhelming yourself, and in the end, leading you to feel burnout syndrome. Instead, being more present in single task and avoiding the distractions enhances your progress and your mood and overall your life. We are going to see how just shifting these kind of thoughts are going to help us in terms of the metabolic output that we have, the energy, and the immunity. When we adopt a relentless solution focus or the RSF mindset, we learn that we can think about solutions instead of the problems. At this point, you might be thinking that RSF is simply about being more optimistic. It's not about that. But actually, there is a lot more to it than that. RSF helps us to see the good in our lives and focus on how we can improve our circumstances instead of losing time and energy in the problems or in the noise. So, how do we apply this strategy of thinking? First off, we need to control our thoughts, and that doesn't mean that you have to monitor all of your thoughts. That just means that you have to be more aware when you are going into the loop of the rumination process. Remember that our brain can only focus or fully focus on one thing at a time, which is the main quote and the main message of this book. When challenges fill our mind, we are unable to come up with potential solutions because we are caught up in a spiral of negativity. So instead of concentrating on the problem, we need to focus on the solution. This process worked very well for one of the author's former clients, called Justin. He was doing very well in his career, but it was affecting his family life. He wanted a better balance between the two of them, which most of the people want that balance between life with family and work. So how did he achieve that? He quickly identified a solution. Get to work an hour earlier every day, just 1 hour. But it didn't all go so smoothly as he hoped. So it turned out that he wasn't a morning person, and it was a struggle for him to get up at 6 a.m. every day. So rather than focusing on the struggle of getting up early, Justin decided to start identifying additional solutions, and he told himself he had to learn to become a morning person, and he placed an objective and intention instead of dealing with the problem. He decided to start going to bed early on work nights, giving himself some flexibility on the weekends. By adopting this relentless solution focused mindset, Justin was able to proudly declared that he was a morning person 6 months later. So that's the creation of the habit. Focusing on your intention and following up the next days, focusing in the solution, not in the problem, not in the noise. You will be challenged by probably your critic mind, but you have to overcome that noise and get into the intention of finding the solution, finding the habit, and making progress. And by getting to the office just 1 hour earlier, he achieved his goal of being able to leave work 2 hours earlier, with energy left to spend with his family. It is often said that before we arrive at a solution, we need to fully understand the problem. But in reality, sometimes this process is just a myth and doesn't usually work, because if we are just trying, forcing ourselves to understand the problem, many times we get in the mindset of seeing more fictitious scenarios that are not happening and that are leading you to drain the energy. So this happen because what we think about our problems, or when we think about our problems too much, they expand and they begin to dominate our thoughts. It is like a virus that is spreading. This often leads to cycles of negativity and the onset of the problem-centric thought. So instead of problems breeding solutions, focusing on problems usually produces even more problems and drains energy. Every time we engage in these ruminative cycles, we lose a lot of energy. The key message here is to stop thinking about your problems and learn to identify and focus on the solution. If someone offered you a surefire guarantee to reduce your chances of getting cancer or heart disease or a stroke, would you take it? Of course you would. Most of the people would say, yes, that's what I want. So, well, it turns out that individuals with a relentless solution focus mindset are scientifically proven to experience a significant increase in health, happiness, and success. Three major areas of your life. Specifically, this RSF mindset decreases our likelihood of cancer by 16%, heart disease by 38%, almost 40%, and stroke by 39%, so almost 40 again. In addition, it can help you to sleep better, make friends faster, and increase your chances of success. So why does this happen in terms of your health? Because the process of overloading your brain with this problem thinking and creating more fictitious scenarios, as I mentioned, drains a lot of energy and creates the toxic chemistry in your brain that is going to be also communicated through the vagus nerve to your gut, and you will start creating more metabolic problems, and you will start raising the level of threat in your body, and that is going to turn on a lot of mechanisms that can lead you to these chronic diseases. That's what happens. So how does the RSF mindset really work? Well, the key message in this whole book and this whole discussion is, if we use the RSF mindset to replace all your problem focused thoughts with solution focused alternatives, when we adopt this mindset, we become mentally tough, more resilient. It is also, as I mentioned, healthier alternative to problem-centric thought and to your whole and overall health. So why don't try it out? Why don't start when we face a challenge, focus on the solution and don't pay attention to the problem? And in that way, we dissolve the energy of that problem mindset thinking. So I hope that this reflection and messages have helped you. And if you find it interesting, helpful, and informative, just help me with a reaction, with a comment, with a share, so that the algorithms in Facebook and in the YouTube channel that I'm going to post later can increase the promotion of this kind of information. That's what you can do for me, and I would really, really appreciate it if you interact more. Thank you. Have a wonderful afternoon, and remember that Fridays I have a full episode focused on the pillars of health. I try to manage to change them. Every Friday I speak of a different topic, and it is always and each time more helpful in terms of giving you solutions to understanding more all your health, your inner health. So you can listen to the podcast, you can go to the YouTube channel, and if you want more, I have courses and I have also specifically designed programs for every person that wants to go beyond their health and start understanding more their body with science and wellness. Thank you very much for paying attention. Have a wonderful afternoon. We will listen to each other next Wednesday. Bye.